The suburban ninja, the masterful might and perfected poise of a trained martial artist. But remember, whenever you land at an angle, you'll probably shoot back off at an angle too.
3, 2, 1.
Add some drink, and that all-important straight landing is made even more difficult. Now, according to statistics, 75% of trampoline injuries occur when multiple people are jumping together. And no, I didn't just make that up. Physics states that the trampoline will store energy jump. So 5 people jump at the same time means 5 times the amount of energy for the person who lands late. Sorry, it's nothing personal, it's just science. When I was growing up, scooters were for kids. Nowadays it appears there is no upper age limit for charging around on tiny wheels. I'm not getting one though, and here's why. Scooters are hard to control, can be a bit temperamental, and reduce many riders to tears.
Oh my god.
But for those tempted to take on the world of pain, the ultimate test is the scooter backflip. If this chap wants to progress from sore bottom to soaring into the air, he'll need to learn a lesson from science. To achieve height and rotation, this expert rider needs momentum. As he hits the ramp, he leans back to ensure he rotates. In order to make the scooter rotate with him, he pulls hard on the handlebars, whilst at the same time pushing the base away with his feet. This keeps it glued to him instead of shooting off. Angular velocity dictates how much you rotate. Halve your body's length, quadruple the speed of the spin. The world record for scooter backflips performed in 1 minute is 12, and it was achieved by a bloke called Dakota Schutz. He must be very good at applying all that science before gravity brings him back to Earth. Unfortunately, not everybody is. Momentum is vital, and that's not enough. Can you complete a backflip without pushing down on the base? No. But you might get a face full of grass. Tasty. Pull back on the handlebars to keep it rotating. Just not too hard. Nice landing. Come on, you backflip wannabes. To get that spin right, you need to concentrate on just 2 key things. Leaning back at takeoff and adjusting your spin speed. How hard can it be? Apparently, very hard. Let's go back. This guy's leaning sideways, causing him to twist as he rotates. And once you're in the air, it's too late to readjust. Remember, the only way to correct any under-rotation is to tuck more. Halve your body's length to quadruple spin speed. Extremely important in a double backflip. See what I mean? This tower is 400 feet high. What property is he about to discover? Provided he jumps, of course. So, who guessed the fate of the junior Birdman? His intrepid somersault stopped his parachute deploying. He accelerated to over 50 miles an hour, but survived. New snow can be 14 times less dense than water, allowing it to absorb some of the impact of his fall. He did fracture his vertebrae, pelvis, and legs, but at least he's got his mates.
Yes.
What do you get when you mix up a load of inebriated, semi-naked people, some rope, and a video camera? It's called swinging. No, not that type of swinging.
Yeah.
Also known as face planting. Attaching a rope to a tree and swinging from it should be relatively trouble-free, but sometimes pesky physics just gets in the way. When swinging at speed, You feel heaviest at the bottom of the swing, where momentum is highest and you're at your fastest. You'll feel a force of up to 3 times your body weight when vertical. This is similar to what an astronaut feels during liftoff, so you'll need plenty of strength in your arms. Let's see if this guy has the right stuff. No. Let's rewind. Having started his swing at around 40 degrees, he experiences just 1.5 times his weight at this point. But that's 1.5 times more than he can manage. When it comes to getting off a swinging rope, it pays to think of yourself as a human pendulum. That means you're going fastest at the bottom of the swing and slowest at the top. This seems obvious, but try keeping those thoughts in your head when you're ready to get off. So where is it best to let go? In this case, probably not here. She chose to let go when she was travelling slowest and at her highest point from the ground. Not ideal, as it turns out. Tarzan, king of the jungle. Ouch! Remember, even though you dismounted the rope and gravity is pulling you to the ground, the rope continues on its arc. Primed and proud in his budgie smugglers, here is the king of the swingers. Well, he won't get too much swinging action in that position, as he feels the equivalent of 3 times his own weight on his ankle.
Before medical treatment? After medical treatment.
The world of breakdancing has been causing injury and insult for decades. Get it right, and you lend yourself an air of urban cool. Get it wrong, and it's more break face than break dance. One of the classic moves is the windmill. The basic premise is for the dancer to continually rotate with splayed legs, and do it on the same spot. Dope.
Yeah.
That guy was unwittingly as much scientist as urban dancer, because successful windmilling relies as much on physics as choreography. The windmill is a difficult move, since the dancer's centre of gravity is not directly above the pivot point, and tends to pull the pivot point towards it. To counteract this, an experienced breakdancer spins fast and evenly to maintain stability. A slow or jerky spin will tend to drag the pivot point, and the dancer will spin across the floor. So it really does pay to make that spin as fast and smooth as possible. That's how the pros do it. But what happens when you ignore all the science? It's a slow, jerky spin. His pivot point is constantly dragged away from the centre, creating new rotational paths into those exercise bikes that are ironically used for spinning. There are plenty of online guides to help you, so with 2 laptops to hand, this young man must be amazing. Oh. Remember, your centre of gravity is not above your pivot, so even if you've mastered it, you might want to clear the immediate area. Have you tried turning it off and then back on again? Usually does it. Also trying to illustrate the fundamental basics is this suburban swinger.
Frank the taxi driver can Will Rogers go busy and he's on the best drag then till he goes busy.
Good, crack on then.
You'll go then.
Well, if you're the best, I'd hate to see the worst. The faster your spin, the less likely you are to deviate from the centre. Come on, Frank, it's just physics. This young Twinkle Toes hopes he'll get his pivot point and spin speed just right. Mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the best dancing physicist of them all? Well, not him. Motorcycle stunt riders are a pretty fearless lot, thrilling us with their death-defying jumps, wheelies and loop-the-loops. But ask most display riders which stunt they fear most, and they'll cite the relatively harmless-sounding stoppie. By stabbing on the front brake whilst travelling at speed, the rear wheel lifts off the ground, leaving the bike to continue moving forwards on the front wheel. But the trick lies in keeping the bike on that front wheel. See what I mean? The rider must use the front brake to ensure that the braking force lifting the back wheel exceeds the force of gravity, pulling it back down. As the bike slows, the biker eases off the brake before overshooting their balance point. This is the point at which the centre of gravity is directly above the front wheel. Provided a rider doesn't overshoot their balance point, getting the back wheel down again simply involves releasing that front brake for a smooth exit. So it's a case of balancing the braking force that gets you up and the gravitational force that wants to bring that rear wheel back to earth. And remember the golden rule: go past the balance point and you'll never recover. It's the motoring equivalent of being pushed over with your legs tied together. Very few riders can successfully execute a stoppie, but almost anyone can cock it up. This daredevil grasped the importance of using braking force to overcome gravity, but then learned about going past balance point the hard way.
Tomorrow, sometime, they're gonna give me surgery and fix my femur and my broken column. And they still have to edit my hand because I think it's broken too.
Told you it was dangerous. We'll drain your legs over the handlebars, help locate that balance point. No, it won't. The balance point with his centre of gravity above the wheel was about there. Not there. Or indeed there. A total failure to locate balance point, but a successful demonstration of why the t-shirt is not considered protective clothing. And if you think you've located your balance point, why not hit the open road? Literally.
I got it.
And remember, using public roads to study balance points can result in you not only falling foul of the laws of physics, but the law in general. I'm having a midlife crisis, officer. Ever wondered if you can recover a stoppie when your front wheel's got the shakes? Well, you can't. And I wouldn't sit there either, madam. So, to recap stoppie protocol. A bike can weigh 550 pounds. So you'll need to get that braking force to overcome all that weight and locate your balance point. If you can't remember any of that, wear a helmet, and leathers, and gloves. Just use your common sense. We've all reenacted scenes from The Karate Kid, but the reality of chopping your way through a solid object has been proven to beat even the most hardy.